How's it going, man?
Alhamdulillah wa alaikum assalam, brother. How you doing?
Doing so well and so happy to be speaking with you. I've been a fan of yours for a while and I watched the first season of Mo. Absolutely love it. Bravo to you and the entire cast and crew. So one of my first questions is one of my friends, Kate Sanchez of But Why Though, wrote in her review of the show. She loved it and she said it was a fantastic depiction of Houston. So, what was important to you about the depiction of Houston in the series?
Well, immediately it's a diverse one, right? It's about like inclusion and having a diverse cast was, you know, top priority to show an accurate depiction of what Houston is like, and also the landscapes and showing like making it feel like the Houston is another character in the show. And how do you do that? The way I described it to our DP and our director Slick was like imagine like an urban western, like having it with the bright colors of the sun beaming off the really rich sky in Houston and the really full formations of the Gulf clouds that would come in. Like we should capture that to the point where they became the title cards, right? In the show. So yeah, it was very easy from that to like for me to recreate that because my world is very diverse as well. People think like, oh, okay, he's Arab. Muslims probably hang around with a lot of Arabs and Muslims, but it's not really the case. It's like combined. It's everyone. It's not just one particular ethnic group. I could eat Vietnamese food in the hood one day, and then the next day go to Cedar's Bakery and be teleported into Lebanon once I cross that door. So it was just very easy to keep that in mind because it's actually my life. So wasn't difficult to recreate that, but that was the number one thing.
Yeah, that was absolutely apparent throughout watching the series. So, something else I really appreciate about this series is the unflinching portrayal of the ostracization and xenophobia Palestinians and other marginalized groups face here in the US. You don't often get that. And you weren't brushing it aside for some sort of false rosy picture. So, why was that important for you and the team to portray that in the series?
Well, it's an honest depiction, right? It's my experience of being who I am. Um, so it's just like about if we want to make a real show that's honest and real, that's going to truly resonate with the masses, then you can't, you know, uh, alter that in some way. You got to be really honest and as grounded as possible. So that was really it. It was just very simple. Are we trying to tell a real story here, or are we bullshitting? Like it was just that. Are we just here to be hokey, or are we going to be thoughtful and present with every character, not just Mo? Everybody from, because the mom is such an important part of the series, and seeing what her generational trauma is and what is that like, and then what is her purpose, and what does she desire, what does she feel like she's missing out on. My brother with his quirks and autism, and what does that create for him, and the denial within the family, or so much to unpackage with each character, from my girlfriend and the religious thing, yes, but also like Mo feeling less than and not able to provide is really like the main thing, where he doesn't feel like a man, and it's like he's not able to do what she's doing, which is running a mechanic shop, which is running a man's world essentially. And it's so amazing to see that, him going through that, and especially in episode 4, he's like, "I'll take care of you." She just like laughs in his face, and he's just devastated right out the gate. Starts going to make a deal, and then catches himself in more trouble. So it was so much fun, unpackaging all that and dealing with it and seeing what kind of situations we could put each character
Dude, it was just so good throughout. I
in.
really love this show, and everyone did a fantastic job. That sort of leads me into my next question. What was it like working with Farah Bisieso, Omar Elba, Shireen Dabis to bring the Najad family to life? And how did each of y'all bring your experiences to creating this Palestinian Muslim family?
Man, it was, well, Farah immediately. I was like, and Omar. And Shireen, actually, everybody. It was just like I have an existing relationship with Shireen and Omar previous to the show. Actually, Omar and I shared the same immigration lawyer, which is crazy. Many years ago, I remember my immigration attorney, Jonathan Lamb, who consulted on the show. He was just like, yeah, there's this guy, he does comedy and this and that. I was like, nah, nah, I'm doing like real stand. What are you talking about? Like, just some guy. Like, I didn't know who he was. And so amazing that we became friends shortly after that, and learned about him in like 2009. That's when we first met. And when he auditioned for the show, it was like a no-brainer. It's like he knew the character so well, just needed some guidance on what to tap into. And he just killed it, absolutely killed it. And then my, Farah in the show plays my mother. She had the same exact experience as we did. She was born in Nablus, is very similar to my mom. Went to Kuwait, fled the Gulf War as well. Understood the dialect was natural to her. The experience was deeply personal as well. So it wasn't something very difficult for her to tap into and show her in the best light for the series. So it was a no-brainer to the point to where when Farah got I told her over Zoom in Arabic, it was like, you got it. You're just blowing away everybody. And she sent me a voice message on WhatsApp while I was at my mom's house. I stepped away from the sunroom into the living room to listen to her message. And my mom walks in and goes, I don't remember sending you a message today. It was like so creepy that she did sound exactly like my actual mom. Yet knowing that we were definitely on the right track there, just got goosebumps when that happened. And Shireen was a natural choice. I mean, she's Palestinian, so much experience. She's Emmy nominated for her direction um, just recently, and it's so exciting for her, and to have her in front of camera and share that experience was very natural as well. Knowing that we do have this personal relationship, just pre she directed me on Rami, we know each other there, and it was just a beautiful thing to bring that together. And it's one thing to have like somebody playing a Palestinian that's not Palestinian, and it's a whole nother thing to have somebody who's rooted in that history and has family back home currently that is experience that with you firsthand. It's very, very different, you know and so incredibly unique. So it's a no-brainer. It was a beautiful thing. And Teresa was incredible too, my girlfriend. I've been a fan of her since before we did the show, and we got along so well. And Toby and I had a pre-existing relationship already, and he's from the same neighborhood, from A-Leaf, huge Nigerian population. It was a no-brainer there. There's so many people that really just stepped up, and that really did an excellent job, and excited to have it. And Texas has that. Texas has a tremendous amount of talent that opportunities are scarce, don't really come along that much. There's not many projects that work out of Texas, and it's the first narrative sitcom that's ever been filmed out of Houston, which is absurd. And the opportunities that creates for those individuals as well is exciting for me. No matter what background you come from, as the best person for the job, that's my rule. I don't care about anything else. Really zero. And the second thing is that offering opportunities to, of course, minorities who don't really have the chances otherwise.
Yeah, 100%. So we all know like representation isn't the end all be all for oppressed and marginalized people, but that it does matter tremendously, especially in getting our stories out there to people in the majority. So just like with everything that has happened in Palestine to Palestinians that continues to happen, why for you? I mean, this is like it's historic. It is the first Palestinian American series basically ever. And what's it like for you and the rest of the team with that sort of pressure, but also realizing you're breaking into it and hopefully for more Palestinian stories to follow?
Yeah, it was a lot of pressure. It is really heavy on my shoulders specifically. I think everyone can say they understand, but they don't really understand. You know what I mean? Like, I would get that from everyone. I had amazing collaborators and writers from network to studio, all across the board. They really were with me every step of the way, and understanding the stories in my DNA and how to get the most honest version out. In the end, I felt it really hard. I felt it in a really deep way where it was so profound and scary at times. Like, man, this is a heavy thing to lift. It's unfair almost to to feel that much responsibility, but also it's what drove me and kept me going every morning is that responsibility to tell an honest story. And every time that I would tap into something that I truly experienced and I felt scared about it, that told me immediately I was on the right track. I need to channel that because I kept reminding myself, like, this is a story about, belonging, about feeling seen, about feeling equal then to the person next to you, and that's highly relatable across the board, not just to refugees, immigrant societies in their respective countries, but it's also to the every man, the person who's struggling every day, working multiple jobs, trying to take care of their family, but not feeling like they're up to par and they never can create a real future for themselves. This is for everyone that hustles to try to make it in this world, and it feels like that's the only way to do it now. Like, it's not just immigrants have to outwork everybody; it's everyone. It's like there's the rich and there's the 1%, and there's everybody else, and that there's becoming a wider and wider gap between the middle class and the rich, and that's creating a whole other set of circumstances. So it's a highly universal, relatable show. It just happens to be through a Palestinian family, which is incredible as the vehicle to create this understanding, which is so fun to do and interesting, different.
Right. It's finding the universal and the specific.
Yeah, and then how not to be overtly political, right? Highly politicized topic. It's like, no, we need to just get into the story and get very personal with the characters. And there's no need to be like overtly political and everything. I personally, it's not my style. I love storytelling. I love, having spacing and understanding the origin stories of everyone as well. And having that balance is really important, and showing it through like the relationships, whether it be with Nazir and Abba in the coffee shop and having their moment together where they're going at it, they're yelling at each other, and then the next second they're like, hey, get some tea for my buddy here, like show this compassion between each other. That's in the end, that's all I want, is to have spirited discussions while having respect for one another and true care for one another while, be remaining friends and becoming closer and closer. So that was to me like one of the ways to push the story forward and show that this coexistence through these two characters.
Yeah, absolutely. And last question, where would you like to see this show and these characters go in, inshallah, season 2?
I can't tell you any of that. I can't tell you. You have to watch. And it's one of those things that there's so many forks in the road. Like, there's one for me, obviously, there's a clear, like, he has to get back, and what does that look like, and what is that experience in? You can dive into that in many different ways, but I definitely can't share with you. I'm cooking right now. The recipe it's still I'm still mixing ingredients and letting it simmer. So
completely understood. Mo Amer, congratulations on all your success. You're doing
the
community incredibly proud. We can't wait to see you in Black Adam as well. I know you can't talk about that.
I can't wait either.
But congratulations. Everyone has to check out Mo on Netflix. And thank you so much for speaking with the Nerds of Color today. Take care.
My pleasure. Much love. Thank you so much for your time.
Take care.
Fanboys, professional artists, and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me. The hard knock life. Comics, movies, and TV. Yeah. Pop culture with a different perspective. Watch it on your screen, hit play, so check this.